Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out channel. It's G-Man out here in Singapore, and this is a She-Hulk episode 8 spoiler review and breakdown. As you can see, I got my notepad out, or I got my iPad out, I got notes. This was an episode worth watching twice. This was an episode worth taking notes on because Daredevil showed up, man. Finally, an episode I could watch and enjoy and put a smile on my face. Look, I know I've been shitting on this episode, and I know I acknowledge that I'm not the target audience for this show. I guess I hated on it, and then I realized I wasn't the target audience, or I should have known that from the beginning anyway. And I've been ripping on it a little bit. But this one, I finally enjoyed it. Finally, an episode that I could watch twice, take notes, geek out, loads of Easter eggs. I'm like, yes, all right, cool. I'm gonna watch this twice. I'm gonna write down notes. I'm gonna do a little breakdown and whatnot. I still think this episode was a filler episode. They didn't lead much until the end. Again, same thing, like a story or whatever, an episode, and then it added extra 5 minutes at the end to follow up the story and whatnot of She-Hulk. But a filler episode with Daredevil, awesome. You got me. I watched it twice. I loved it. So that's the highlight of the show. Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, Daredevil shows up. Awesome. All right, let's go through this. That was a highlight, but let's go through this show because it was a good one to watch. Again, I'm hyped again. I'm hyped. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hyped. So the episode was called Rabbit and Rip. Ribbit and Rip, or Rabbit and Rip, I don't know. It introduces Leapfrog, right? I don't know much about him, but he's in the MCU and everything. He's in the comics and stuff. I don't know much about him. He's basic. He's, tries to stop some dude stealing TVs and stuff. He loses. His boots catch on fire, and he's at Jennifer's law center or whatever firm, and he wants to file a complaint and a case against Luke Jacobson, who's the fashion designer who created She-Hulk's costume and suits and stuff like that. I did shit on Luke a little earlier in the episodes because I didn't like the fact that he was the one making Daredevil's outfit. I just didn't think it suited. However, it all comes back, which, I'm a bit excited about in this one. So anyway, they're in court filing a case against Luke. She-Hulk goes to see Luke and tries to negotiate with him because she still wants her dress for the gala, and she likes the fact that she can make her suits based on her physique and blah, blah, blah. It turns a bit sour. Whatever. They meet in court. She's dressed in a purple suit. I mean, it just Hulk and purple, all that sort of stuff just kind of goes. And then introduce Matt Murdock. Oh my god, that was awesome. That was a wicked moment. Even though there was spoilers throughout the freaking trailer, and even though there was spoilers a whole week saying that he's going to show up this episode, just to see Charlie Cox come back as Matt Murdock and do more than what he did in Spider-Man, because what he did in Spider-Man was Far From Home was amazing. No Way Home, was amazing. But just to see him back into full action was just wicked. Love it, man. So awesome. So he comes in, he does his lawyer thing, he wins the case for Jacob. It was freaking awesome. Matt uses his smell abilities to identify that the frog dude, Leapfrog, was using the wrong fuel in his flying jet foot thing, whatever it was. He was using jet fuel and whatnot. So he wins the case based on that. He mentions that he brings up the Sokovia Accords were repealed, which means that, the superheroes don't have to reveal their identity, whereas Jennifer Waters has openly revealed her identity, and he was expressing the fact that superheroes don't have to because the Sokovia Accords were repealed. What else? Then the next scene, Matt Murdock smashes it. He does his lawyer thing. He's just on point when he's Daredevil, on point when he's a lawyer. I love it. Charlie Cox does a great job. I'm so glad they got him back. So awesome. Then you got next scene, Matt and Jen are in a bar. They have a little, they have a little interaction. Matt uses his charm, as he always does in the Daredevil shows. Just the most charming dude, and I guess blind and whatnot. And just you can see Jennifer. She's all blushing and whatnot. So it's a really cute scene. You can see something's happening between those two, or at least Matt's just playing his charm, as he does. He talks about why he's come from New York. He explains it a little bit. I like that a little bit, that why he's there from New York to LA, because Jacobson made him some suits. Obviously, he said a few suits, first of all. maybe he's talking about normal lawyer suits, but also he's talking about the Daredevil suits. I wonder if he's talking about a few Daredevil suits. Interesting that he went all the way to LA and not his guy in New York. I wish they will clear that out in the future, because it seems like it's a clear sort of crossover from the Netflix shows. He does mention, again, tells a story of he's got his practice in Hell's Kitchen. They mostly do pro bono work, and then he says us, right? So the us meaning Foggy, and Karen. So he knows, he mentions the team. So I hope they all show up and everything. Again, he says that he's in LA just for Jacob, but why are you going to Jacob for the suits? Like, did you hear it from someone, or what happened to our guy in the Daredevil show? I can't remember his name, but interesting. At least they explain it a little bit, and at least he says us, which means I feel like the rest of the whole crew's coming back. Then he says something about, he inspires Jennifer about being a superhero inside and outside of Jennifer and She-Hulk, basically. And he mentions Jen can help people use the law when society fails them, and then She-Hulk can help people when the law fails them. So he's acknowledging what he does as Daredevil. He's literally acknowledging what he does. When the law fails people, he goes out there and handles business. So I love that he kind of inspired her a little bit to do that superhero role type of thing. She breaks the fourth wall about Matt. Yes, we can see what's going on there. You like him and whatnot. He's very charming. She gets a call from that dude, Todd, who's the rich, freaking weird dude anyway, that she went on a date with in the first couple episodes, whatever that was. He shows up on the date and he's trying to floss about he bought a Wakandan spear. Black Panther trailer. It's funny that he bring up the Wakandan war spear that he bought, and he starts talking all this shit about, not shit, sorry, but starts saying stuff about he loves Wakanda and no one buys African shit like him. And I don't know, it seemed a bit weird and whatnot. He was a rich fool anyway. Started talking rubbish about he studied there and whatnot, Wakanda forever, all this bullshit. She said, like, chill out. It's very cringy when you do it, and it was very cringy. But the timing is great because we just got the Black Panther 2 trailer. So I wonder if they released that. Disney's smart, or Marvel MCU's smart. So I think they released that Black Panther 2 trailer, and then, just carried on the hype a little bit with She-Hulk and him saying Wakanda forever, and just kind of mentioning that. He talks about, he obviously asked her out. He brought her out on a date trying to floss. She asked if there was any issues with the purchase because she's supposed to be a lawyer. He mentioned stuff about, because it's stolen property from Wakanda, people want it back, and he's like, I don't care. That's the rich people attitude, and it colonizers and shit, stealing stuff and whatnot. Anyway, they mentioned that. It reminds me of, obviously, the first Black Panther with Killmonger, talking about how these British museums and whatnot stole these African artifacts from Africa. Same sort of stuff this dude is doing. But again, throwing in that Wakanda forever and the little thing about Wakanda just when the trailer comes out, just keeping that hype going is amazing. Anyway, he tries to make a move. He's an idiot. She pushes him away. Basic dude. Leapfrog then gives her a call, and he's being attacked. And he gives She-Hulk a call. He gives Jennifer a call, and this is her calling, right? She's gonna go help him and whatnot. Finally, after 8 episodes, she's gonna go out and save the day, sort of thing, based on what Matt Murdock already told her in the bar. She-Hulk can help outside of the law. And then what you see is, in the next scene, which is awesome, you see Daredevil on the car who's attacking him, and you'll find out in a bit later on that the frog dude's a bad guy anyway. He's the one who's kidnapped what's his name, Luke Jacobson. Anyway, but you see a Daredevil versus She-Hulk fight. First of all, you see Daredevil in his new costume, the yellow and red costume. Looks great. Looks freaking awesome, it does. And you see She-Hulk in her She-Hulk uniform, finally, as well. So that was awesome. A great battle between those two. And we finally, and I don't know, I think this is a good thing, actually. And obviously, if the CGI gets better, because this show, let's be real, the CGI has been basic. But we saw Daredevil move in a very agile way, and obviously with CGI and just doing parkour down the building and flips and whatnot. In the Netflix show, I don't believe they use any CGI. I don't know, but it was all look like, stuntmen and whatnot. This one, it was a mixture of stuntmen and CGI, and the CGI just kind of showed up a little bit more of Daredevil's agility and ability to move around and flip around and stuff, which I have to say was pretty cool. I like that. I really enjoyed that. Just got a different side of his abilities and whatnot. His agility abilities, I guess. So that was a pretty awesome fight between those two. And then Hulk, she does her, Hulk clap thing or whatever, and affects his hearing and it messes him up. Obviously, Daredevil and his hearing. What was awesome was when they started talking, she took off his mask, saw that it was Matt Murdock, and she was like, "What the hell? You're a superhero?" Blah blah blah. And then the music plays. Oh, so good. They played the Daredevil theme tune from the Netflix show. That was awesome. That gave me goosebumps. I love that they do that. They done that in Miss Marvel when she says he's a mutant or whatnot, mutation, and they played the X-Men 97 tune. And now in this one, when he starts saying "I'm Daredevil," the music plays. That was sick. She didn't know who the hell Daredevil was, so maybe, I don't know, he didn't cross the lines to wherever they are, LA or whatever they are. But anyway, that was an awesome scene between those two. I like Matt's character. I like Daredevil's character. I mean, I was a bit scared that they're gonna, because of the nature of this show, because of what they done with Wong in episode 3 or 4. I was scared that they're gonna, make Daredevil and Matt Murdock very silly. He cracked joke. He wasn't silly. He cracked joke, but it was still him. It was still his humor, his charm. But he wasn't silly. I don't think he was silly. Behind them, anyway, as he was talking, was the Steve Rogers musical show. So that's obviously reached out there. But anyway, I liked what they did with Daredevil. I thought that was freaking awesome. It fitted well for me, personally. It didn't sillify him too much. He was just, charming and cracking joke. So the soundtrack was awesome. I mentioned that. Leapfrog. Okay, so then you go up to, he says that Leapfrog's the bad guy here. Because he's the one who kidnapped Luke, because he's of his costume and all that bullshit. He starts doing his abilities, saying there's 25 people in there, I can hear their heartbeats. He starts hearing Jen's heartbeat. You can see Jen start blushing and falling for him, very romantic and blah, blah, blah. She catches him on bad math. Her math is basic. I don't know if that's a thing, but her mathematics is basic based on him saying there's 10 people and I can knock them out in 15 seconds each. She keeps saying it's 30 minutes or whatnot. Anyway, there was this mission was like a stealth versus smash sort of mission. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it with the mix of Daredevil and She-Hulk kind of saving the day, I guess. Daredevil tells her, it's not your thing. You don't do this. This is the first time. It's the first time on the job. So Daredevil's more strategic, where she's obviously just more smash, which is what Hulk's strategy is. You can't be more strategic than smash when it comes to Hulk. The visuals on DD look good. You know what I mean? I know we cussing the show about the CGI. Not saying his CGI movements, but just saying the visuals himself. He looks great in his costume. And they throw in a corridor fight scene, or Daredevil shows were known for those epic corridor fight scenes, right? So the scene where, the blue light, I'm sure in the Daredevil shows it'll be red light, right? But in this one it's blue light, which is cool, but it's in a corridor again. He has his little fight with a couple of the goons. I thought it was pretty awesome. And then it looked like they were going to enhance that fight and go into a bigger fight in the corridor, and then She-Hulk comes in and does a She-Hulk smash. But I love the fact that they incorporate a little corridor fight, which Daredevil, the shows were known for, and even the Punisher was known for his little corridor prisons fight. Just that scene, those sort of scenes and those gruesome fights. I mean, he punched and kicked and used his weapons and whatnot. It wouldn't be as gruesome as what we saw on Netflix, of course, but it was still awesome. I really like that they brought that in. And then they go into the leapfrog layers, whatever ways kidnap thing. I saw a bat signal in the back. I don't know if they were trying to do a frog signal, but I thought that was quite funny. It just literally looked like the bat signal, but I think it was a frog or something. As Daredevil's beating everyone up, and She-Hulk is telling Leapfrog that you ruined yourself or blah blah blah. Daredevil starts to make some comments and you can't plead legal sanity or something like that. And then they were like, is he a lawyer? And he says something, no, I'm just a fan of legal dramas, which I think he's just commenting on this show, right? Because this show was a legal drama and whatnot. But yeah, there was a cool fight scene between those two, or just saving the day between those two. It just brought some excitement to this show, finally. Them fighting alongside each other, Daredevil especially. It's just so awesome. Then you got Daredevil sitting on the roof behind some red lights that said lily pads or something. You know, he was just explaining to Jennifer, I'm not the guy to go speak to the cops after that defines the secret identity thing. And he mentions to her, you do have secret identities because you protect the ones you love and stuff like that. You know, Spider-Man has that, all that sort of stuff. So they have that little moment. Then they sleep together. As you saw that was happening through the whole episode, you just saw the chemistry building and building and building. They end up sleeping with each other. It is what it is. I thought that was kind of cool that Daredevil and She-Hulk got together. Why not? In the comics, again, she was with Bearman, so why not do that in the MCU? Then Daredevil does the walk of shame. There's a little scene that he does the walk of shame, walking home bare feet in his costume, past someone after he left Jennifer's house. Then you walk in, you see that Jennifer, she breaks the fourth wall and she acknowledges the extra 5 minutes of the last episode. She acknowledges that, oh, what are you guys still doing there? This seems like a good end to the episode because she slept with Daredevil, blah, blah, blah. But she acknowledges is basically, this ain't the end. Oh, is the next episode, the final episode? So she's acknowledging that we got an extra 5 minutes in this episode and this is going to lead up to the finale episode, which is the last part. There was some extra Easter eggs thrown in this part. She started saying, is there going to be a Red Hulk? You know, Thunderbolt Ross, that's all happening. Thunderbolt is happening. So she threw that out there. Her friend Nikki, I think, comes out and jumps out like Wolverine. I mean, they've been throwing loads of Wolverine Easter eggs recently. And at times, with the announcement with freaking Wolverine coming up, showing Hugh Jackman's Wolverine coming back for Daredevil 3. I mean, they had the Wolverine a little news clip in episode 2 where there was a guy in a bar with claws fighting, and then she comes out with her makeup sticks and three claws in each hand, and she literally comes out and she's like, ah! And I was like, alright, cool, that was a Wolverine reference at the same time when the news just came out. So obviously Marvel has done this all strategically. You had the Black Panther Wakanda Forever when the Black Panther 2 trailer came out, and now you have her coming out screaming like Wolverine, where Wolverine is coming back into the MCU. Well, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine will be in Deadpool 3. Freaking awesome. Those little things. See, listen, I know I shitted on the show, but these little things get me excited and get me geeked out, and that's why I carry on watching it. Even though I didn't enjoy the show, I will carry on watching it because of an episode like this. Simple, and little Easter eggs and stuff. So that was awesome. Then they go to the Gala Female Lawyers Award, which was, I think, obviously the show was talking about how, just women's empowerment and rights and stuff like that. It was a bit weird that they were at a female lawyer award show for just females. Like, why not just be at a lawyer award show and she wins? But it was emphasizing a lot that it was specifically for females. And then 6 of them won. So again, it was just emphasizing that, the rights of women and stuff. And one of them just says, who was her name again? I forgot. She was like, female lawyers. The guy asked, what's it like being a female lawyer? Which is a stupid question, I guess. But then she just says, I hate being asked that, and we work harder and get less acknowledgement, stuff like that. So it's just about female rights in the world anyway and stuff like that. So I guess the show was a little bit about that. They expressed it. They overemphasized it in this. 6 females won the award. It wasn't just She-Hulk. Anyway, here was the part where the story kind of gets into the story, which I still don't think I don't see it as a big antagonist. I don't know if I said the right word, but like a big, bad guy moment or whatnot. But it's that website, that was brought up, The Intelligence or whatever, who exposes her or just hates on her and whatnot. They showed up on the screen at the back and they started exposing her, saying that She-Hulk's not who you think she is. And they tried to, I think the biggest thing is they exposed her saying that she's a slut. She sleeps around and everything, which I don't get. I mean, she's single, she's doing her thing. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know why that was the big expose. Like, she's a slut or she sleeps around. I mean, let her do her thing. I don't know. It's not like she's a nun. It's not like she's married to anyone. She's having a game. I don't know. To me, that wasn't like, I was like, oh, is that the big exposure? Like, exposing her because of that? Don't make sense to me personally. But anyway, what that did was that enraged She-Hulk, and she turns Hulk. She smashes the screen. Everyone starts running out. You see in her face that she's scared everyone. What Bruce Banner always hated, right? When he turned Hulk and had no control and he had people scaring him. I think they were trying to expose that she is also an endangerment to society because she's a Hulk. That's what I think was their intention. So I guess the big exposure of her being a slut or whatever was to kind of get her enraged, to ultimately expose her as an endangerment of society, because she, you know, smashed the screens. Everyone went out screaming. She smashed through the wall. She was gonna smash this dude, and everyone was scared and stuff like that. She was all snarling and growling and whatever. She sounded like a Hulk. And again, it just kind of reminiscent of Hulk, Bruce Banner's Hulk, who, what he hates that about the Hulk, the fact that he scares people, and the people hate Hulk, and he's out of control. So it was that. I think that was the exposure, trying to expose her for who a Hulk was, basically. And then at the end, it finishes off with her looking at something or someone. So I'm interested to see what that something or someone is. I mean, if it's a someone, who could it be? I mean, I thought from the start it would be Kingpin, but I don't know if it will be Kingpin. It could be Blonsky, who set this whole thing up. I don't know about that either. Maybe he's getting some kind of revenge, kind of expose her to say that, you know, because they think he is out of control as an abomination. Maybe he's trying to expose that all the Hulks are out of control because of their rage and whatnot. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, she stared at something, so that's the whole, you know, oh, I can't wait for next week's episode to see what that one's about, or what she's staring at. I mean, look, next week's episode, the last episode, the whole season really is just been filler until the end. So there's no really big, you know, bad guy. I don't think so anyway. Or we'll find out in the next episode. But yeah, man, I enjoyed this episode finally, man. I don't think we're going to see Daredevil again. I think he's done. But that was awesome. It was great. And I like I said, I liked it. I think there might be some controversy on who liked Daredevil and who didn't. Remember, you know, he's the same Daredevil, but just not from the Netflix universe. So they've got to kind of tone him down a little bit. But it was him. I mean, he was still, you know, cracking a little. He wasn't silly. For me, he wasn't silly. He was just charming, and he cracked his jokes and whatnot. He fought wicked. I thought it was awesome. So a fun episode. Loads of Easter eggs in this one. I'm happy about this one. I could finally wanted to give a proper review on my thoughts and then a little breakdown and whatnot. So exciting, man, exciting. I mean, look, the Black Panther 2 trailer came out this week, and I was like, finally, we got something good from Marvel, because She-Hulk was killing me the last couple episodes. And then this episode kind of impressed me as well. I was like, and again, you don't have to impress me. I mean, I ain't shit. I think, the show is target audience for, you know, people who like sitcoms. I was going to say female, but anyway, people who like normal sitcoms and whatnot. But, you know, this week it done it for me, man. I was happy. Seeing Charlie Cox is awesome as Daredevil. Just seeing him come back is so wicked in the MCU. I love it. Can't wait to see more of him. All right, cool. Well, look, that was my review of She-Hulk episode 8. Next week we'll do 9. Hopefully it's another fun episode. And yeah, that's it. I'll talk more about it with Kibbs. Good episode. Watch it. Daredevil, wicked. They smashed it. Wolverine, Black Panther, love it. Red Hulk, everything. Everything's in this episode. They smashed it. So I'm happy this week. All right, guys, cool. That was my review. Hope you liked, enjoyed. Please share, subscribe, like, dislike, all the usual stuff. And I'm out. Peace.